Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. From this session, we are going to start another important series for Angular where we are going to talk about the Angular forms. Okay, prior to this session, we completed the series for the routes of Angular. Now we are going to start with the Angular forms. So firstly, as we always do, we will cover all those important theoretical things that can be useful for you for preparing the interviews and exam, and then later we will implement each and everything practically to see how it actually work with code. Okay, and in this particular session we are going to talk about what are Angular forms, why it matters, and what are the reasons when we are utilizing this Angular form. But before we proceed further with the session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use Angular form. But prior to that, you should know what is Angular, what is routing, and all other basic stuff. And for this, what you can do, you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. From there you can take a reference from there you can take a reference for previously released sessions, and there are 3000 plus free resources available in both Hindi as well as English language, so it will help you to clear your concept before directly starting with the Angular form. Okay, alright, so now let's get started. So here what I did, I just noted down all the important pointers that would be useful for you for the interviews and exam, and we will see how we can answer all those questions. So first and very important thing here, I have noted down the heading, that is Angular codes by Sharmit, and then the first and very important question is, what are Angular forms? Okay, so firstly we will try to understand what are Angular forms. So here I have noted down the introduction. So you can see, in web applications, forms are used to collect user input such as login detail, registration data, search queries, payment information, and etc. That means if there is any method through which user is collecting the data of through which application is collecting the data of user, then in that case we can say that functionality we can call it as forms, Angular forms. Okay, so this is very simple definition, I think, where we clearly mention that in web application, forms are used to collect user input such as login details, registration data, search queries, and payment information. Okay, now how we can relate it with the actual website. So suppose you are working, you are utilizing any of the website, maybe of college or any other application. So there, firstly you are supposed to log in. Okay, if there is a login functionality implemented, so in that case you are supposed to put your login ID and login password. So the way through which you are providing your input to the application is Angular form. Okay, there you are providing, or if the application is built in Angular, and if you are providing the data, then you can say that it is taking the information and collecting the information and then processing it on the backend. Okay, second thing is registration data. So if you are suppose if you are filling one form for your exam, okay, there you are supposed to fill all the information like your academic qualification detail and your personal detail, your all the information, that mailing details, right? So in that case what we will do, we will provide the information, and that form which will help us to process the data is Angular form. Okay, likewise for search queries, sometime we want to do a proper search using some parameters, so in that case we can build a Angular form for the search queries. And also for the payment information, suppose you are working on any e-commerce website, you have booked your order, and now you are at the last stage where you are going to fill the information related to payment, your credit card, debit card number, PIN, and other required stuff, expiry date and all, right? So these information again we are transferring through one method, that is Angular form. Clear? So we can simply say that Angular provides a powerful and structured way to build, manage and validate the forms in application. Okay, so here we can clearly say that yes, Angular help or provide us with a powerful structured way to build the form, to manage the form and to validate the forms as well. Now what is form validation? We all know that we are providing the data, but application will make it very sure by doing some validation that yes, data is correct. If it is not, it will show the user that no, data is not correct. But if it is correct, it will accept it and then process it. So yes, Angular forms provide the proper data validation. For example, if you have created one form with name and email, so it will make sure that in name column you are not providing the numbers, special characters. In email column you are providing the correct format of email, not 123 or something like that. If it is not valid as per structure, it will throw the error and show user that you should key in the details again. But if it is correct, then it will simply accept it and move forward. Clear? Fine. Now in other way you can say, here I have noted down other definition also in a very simplified way, that Angular forms refer to Angular system for handling user input through HTML forms. Okay, they allow developers to collect data from user. Very important thing, that yes, it allows Angular to collect the data from the user. It allows user to track input values and changes. That is also correct. If you want to track your input values and changes that you are changes that you are implementing on your application, then Angular forms will help you to track input values and changes. For it allows developers to validate the data, as I mentioned. For email or for any particular thing, if you want to validate your data, then again you will use the Angular form. Respond to form events. Yes, there are multiple events that will be triggered when you are working with a form. So in that situation, yes, it will help us to respond to all those form events. Fifth point is submit and process final input. So let's say if you have provided all the required data, it is all good, and you want to just submit it and process it for the final input, then in that case it will help developer to process it. Okay, so in short we can say that Angular offers built-in APIs, directives and classes to manage form in a clean, scalable and reactive way. Okay, so I think definition wise we are good. Now let's try to understand why the form matter in Angular, why it is so important to use the forms. Because forms are central to many features in modern web application, like user authentication. So wherever you are seeing user authentication in Angular application, so you can say that here we should use login, like these kind of functionality, login, registration. So we will be using the Angular form for the user authentication. Checkout and payment process. Yes, it is useful for checkout and payment process. For feedback and surveys, in case if you want to take any feedback or surveys, you want to do any surveys, so in that case also forms are utilized. Search functionality, again if you want to search any thing with particular parameters, so you will go with the Angular form. Data entry dashboard, yes, for data entry purpose, for data entry tasks, you will use the Angular form to collect the data of the user and then you process it later. Okay, next important thing is Angular forms help make these particular tasks, all these tasks that we discussed, easier to build, easier to maintain and more robust and structured. Yes, because if you are using Angular form, so managing the data is very much easier, because now you have validated the data and you are performing the things. Now some of you might be thinking like we have HTML form, so we can collect data from there also, but here there are some advantages that I will show, like we will discuss when we will be doing the practical thing. But prior to that, at least we should know about these pointers, so that when we are talking about the practical example, so you can relate the things in a better way. That's why we are covering all these information here. Okay, so yeah, I think today's session is clear to all of you, and in the next session we will discuss few more things. We will discuss things related to Angular forms. Meanwhile, you can do the practice, and if you have any question, queries or suggestion, you can reach out to me through YouTube comments. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.